Would like to welcome you all this evening, or should I say tonight, to the 28th Annual Ruby Hurley Dinner, and are you in for a treat? We have three remarkable, distinguished, stalwart members of the community here that we're going to be talking about briefly some of the concerns that have taken place in the NAACP activity here in Chattanooga, as well as some highlights of their careers here in the community. We have with us Mr. Johnny Holloway, and here shortly we'll be speaking with none other than Mr. Booker T. Scruggs, along with Mr. Eddie Holmes, all who have contributed so much to the community here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Johnny, it's always good seeing you and talking with you. We have a lot of questions to ask you this tonight concerning your career, your community activism here in Chattanooga, as well as with the NAACP. If you could just share with us briefly what encouraged you or inspired you to become such an activist in the community?
Well, I can give you a real short answer to that is being black in America and the experience I've had growing up in America. That's basically everything I've done has been to correct something I thought needed to be corrected in America.
Talk a little bit about it because it's very important. If you look at any major city where a civil rights movement took place, there was always an institution of higher learning. For example, in Nashville, you had Fisk, you had Tennessee State. In Atlanta, you had Spelman, Morehouse. Any of those large cities had a large educational base. That's higher education, because at that time, some of our best minds were in those institutions.
I am a member of the class of 1960 of Howard School. We are the class which actually initiated the desegregation process here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the concept called the sit-ins. And as many people probably know, back in 1960, if you were African American, you could go into the five and dime stores, or you could go into any store and buy pretty much whatever you wanted to buy. But when it came to sitting down at a restaurant or sitting down at a lunch counter, you either had to buy your food and go outside and eat it, or you just didn't sit there and eat your food.
It was great.
In what way?
I learned to accept people for who they are and not what they are. One of the things that growing up in our family, we were always taught that you are no better than anyone and no one is better than you. You are not a second-class citizen, you're not a first-class citizen. You are a citizen. And you ought to treat everyone with the same respect that you expect to receive. And these were things that that we were taught as a family growing up.
We have to go back and get a bit of history. We have to go back to 1909, really, when the NAACP was born, because that was to prevent lynchings. By 1915, we were into education, and this has led us into Commissioner Franklin, as I call him, and his years. But during the interim, many things had happened. From 1915 to 1954, we were struggling in education. NAACP had won some 38 successful litigations in education. During the same time, the anti-lynch law was passed after, 39 years.